welcome to another episode of the Decogged podcast.
The Decogged podcast.
Yeah, not
I like
Anim
this.
Jam anymore.
Yeah. We're still going to be doing Anim stuff, but,
exactly.
you know.
But not.
Yeah, now it's everything.
Yeah. So today we're actually going to talk about, sort of elaborate more about the topics from last week, specifically about the NFT space and what we are doing as artists in that NFT space.
Yeah.
So, so what are we doing, Billy?
Well, because we're new to the space, and I feel like if you're new to any space, you should really take the time to learn about the space first before you go ahead and try to build something, right? Because there's so much to learn. It's not just you can't just come in and expect to make art and sell art straight away, and you don't know anyone, you don't have any connections in this whole space. And I feel like the best thing to do when you're coming in fresh is really just to be a part of the community, and that's kind of what we're trying to do now. We're just trying to be a part of the community and contribute to the community, and at the same time learn.
Yeah.
So
exactly. So to elaborate even further, we've in the NFT space right now, there's all these little communities that are being created, and they're mostly called PFP projects, right?
Yeah.
So that means profile picture projects. So you've probably seen a lot of
I guess
Basie.
Bored Apes.
Yeah, Bored Apes.
Basie, for those that don't know, is Bored Ape Yacht Club, which is the biggest, I guess. It's the biggest right now, the biggest profile pic project.
Yeah, with Justin Bieber just recently.
Yeah, Bieber just aped in.
Yeah.
You can say aped with actual apes.
Yeah. So basically these projects, a lot of them is illustrate, their thing is having these profile pics, and but that's not all. What they provide is a Discord community where they show you what their project is about, and they sometimes collaborate with other communities to create some free giveaways to people. But basically, it's little micro communities everywhere. And what we have been doing specifically is creating a 3D version of these 2D profile photos for free for anybody in that community. So why did you first come up with that idea?
I mean, if I'm honest, I saw somebody else do it, and I thought to myself, hey, that's a really good idea. They're getting a lot of attention, they're getting a lot of love from doing this, and it kind of, I think everything's come full circle for us in a lot of ways, because we, I don't know how much people know about Gary V out there, but shout out to Gary V. But his whole thing is jab, 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 right hook, and what that means is give, and then ask. So when we're coming into this space new and hot, we can't just all of a sudden expect people to give us any attention. We can't ask people to buy our work, because nobody is going to care. And I think it's important in any new space where you want to enter, is you have to give before you ask. And that's kind of I think it's come full circle, because after listening to Gary and being fresh in the scene and seeing these other artists do something similar, it really kind of just triggered me to be hey, look, this is kind of what we should be doing, in order to build our own personal brands in the space, and to show people that, hey, we can do this work at a high quality as well, and we're taking it very serious. So we're not trying to do just crap work and put it out there. We're taking it very serious and trying to make these look the best that we can and give it to people, and really that way it's also fulfilling in a weird way, because when you give somebody something, I feel like you get something in return, even if it's nothing tangible. It's you get a sense of satisfaction. And
I think that's what we noticed the most. It felt like, we were just saying this over lunch, how doing these sort of free art for people and giving it to them, it's been really, even though we're not getting anything in return, it's oddly satisfying. It feels like we're just creating. And that's I think that's why partially we left the industry for a bit, like, recently. There's no we're not getting anything tangible. Definitely nothing.
Exactly. It's nothing. We're not expecting anything in return. I think that's the important thing to know. It's like, if somebody does the same as we do, and they come in the space and they start doing this for people, if you expect like people to like show up and show love and all this and that, I think you're just gonna feel like dissatisfied, because then you're putting an expectation to this whole thing which might not be realistic, because people might not really care. Maybe the only person that cares is the one that you made this for. And I feel like that should be enough. But a byproduct is like, there are people actually seeing this stuff that we do, and it does get shared around, and people are showing us love. And I feel like that's in a way like a really nice byproduct, but it's not like, it shouldn't be the sole purpose of doing it, because I think that kind of takes away a little bit of the, I guess, the
love.
The love. Game. It takes a little bit of what's that word, that genuine, it makes it feel disingenuous, because now it's like, I'm doing this expecting this to happen. But of course, I mean, we are like being very strategic about it. So I feel like after doing a couple and seeing how well it's doing, I'm like, okay, I should continue doing this, and then and then you started doing this as well, but for a different project. And maybe we'll pull up some of the actual examples of how it all looks. And that way you guys can see.
Exactly. But just before we do that, I guess I like Billy did it for one community, I did it for another, and we both did it for some other ones as well. But I'm not gonna lie, like, you get caught up in it after when you do like, two or three, and you're like, oh, this is getting like some looks, right? And but you always have to recalibrate after and be like, I did this because it was fun, and yes, we want to grow our following and show, like, get some exposure for our names before we do our thing. But you always have to recalibrate and make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. It's really easy to like just do it for the clout and do it for like just people to validate you.
Exactly.
And right now that's definitely like something that's, how do you say it? If you like, for people that have worked in the industry, obviously, because we've been professionals before, we do have a better eye than I guess most of the people in the NFT space right now. So if you wanted to just get like validation right now on Twitter, you definitely can.
Easy.
Because
the quality of work is very like, the bar hasn't really been
not
set.
Mature yet.
It's not mature. So there isn't really like this is the standard that people expect, moving forward. But I feel like over time, as it matures and as more artists like us come in the space, it's going to get more and more competitive, in the sense where your work's just not going to stand out as much, and people who aren't really that technically and artistically mature in terms of their skill, they might actually start to struggle a little bit to compete with the players that are coming in new. So I think there is an advantage for being early in the space, like we are at the moment. I feel like we're still very early, and it might still be early for the next 2-3 years, but I think coming in at this point with the level of experience that we have is going to like help us stand out in the space. And I think that's obviously important to us, because like I say, we're doing this just to give this stuff to people, but of course at the same time we're strategizing in it. We want this to get exposure. If it doesn't happen, that's we're not going to get salty about it. We always have to think about like we're not entitled to anything. We're not entitled to people caring about this stuff. But what we're trying to do is actually like give to the ecosystem, participate, and then hopefully in return it's like the community gives back. And I have some crazy stories, I mean, based on like just doing these these 3D versions of stuff, and maybe we can as we go through and show the examples, I can actually touch upon like some of the crazier connections and things that actually happen when once doing it. But
Yeah, we'll hop right in. But right before we do, one last thing. Um, like from just like the last thing you've mentioned, like you can see how like being early and maybe not having not having your skills fully matured yet, you can see how like you like artists that are listening to this, if you guys come in right now, it's actually like a possibility where you can develop your own brand and not at a very high barrier of entry either right now. Like yeah.
I think how should I say, like the competition in the traditional art scene is very high, right? Like there's a lot of people trying to get eyeballs, but I think there's like almost this crazy supply and demand mismatch at the moment in the NFT space, where there's so much supply. I mean, there's so much demand for the actual art, for the actual quality art as well. But the supply isn't quite there because a lot of the artists, they're just not in the space, or they're trying to figure it out. They don't know how to get in, or they're coming in, but they're coming in with the wrong reasons, and they're getting no attention, they're getting no love, so they leave. So I think it's definitely something that like you can't just come in and expect people to care just because you make good art. So there is like an element where you have to engage, you have to learn, you have to like participate. And that's the whole Web3 ethos. It's like to be a part of this ecosystem, you can't just come in. You have to come in, stay, learn, connect, participate, all of it, contribute, and then naturally like things will start to happen, like
exactly. But this is how like this could be of some value like to people who are listening. It's like you don't have to be the perfect artist right now. Artists also grow on the job. So but just coming into the space early, dipping your feet in it, and really understanding what's happening, what is involved in this space can already get you a leg up, and you can make a living off of it. And that's exactly why we're going to actually go into some of these examples. So let's see, let's go to this first. So this is Billy's Twitter page. Very exciting. So actually let's go through like your first,
starting at the very beginning.
The very beginning.
So you can almost see the evolution. So just so like anyone that's listening, we've been doing this for about like a solid month plus, like almost 2 months.
A month.
It doesn't feel like a long time, but I feel like I started in December, mid-December, towards the end of December.
End of December.
And now if you're watching this at a later date, it's like the beginning of February. So it's been just a little bit over a month, and this is kind of the first 3D version of these profile pic projects that I made, and this is of my own, of course. And the project itself is called Alien Friends, and it's a very popular project right now. There's a lot of people actually who own these Alien Friends profile pics. A lot of people who are trying to afford one, but it's kind of gotten a little bit pricey. Good old JB, Justin Biebs, also aped into Alien Friends. So,
oh really? I did not know that.
Yeah, so he bought a Bored Apes, he bought a Doodle, and he bought an Alien Friends. So
he definitely talked to Gary Vee.
Yeah, I think he talked to somebody in the space, and he definitely found out which projects to get in. But Alien Friends is it's a very strong project in my opinion. And I had a feeling early on, because of like people like Gary Vee who were like talking up the project. I decided, I'm gonna buy into one, and it was at the time it felt I felt very unsure because it's a lot of money. I think I spent close to $2,000 on this.
Was it 0.39?
It was 0.6969.
Oh, right.
And it's funny, like, because that number is like an internet meme, right? So I felt compelled to like buy in because of a bunch of reasons. Plus, I really liked this one in particular. Like, I bought one that wasn't the cheapest. I definitely hunted for one that I liked.
And for rarity.
Yeah, and for rarity. I mean, there's a whole... we can get into rarity and stuff later on. Maybe another episode. Yeah, another episode, Something more on the degen side. But for now, it's safe to say, like, it's not like a very common one, because there's ones that are way more uncommon.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to like pull up your. So this is the original artwork that Billy bought for 0.6969.
yeah,
And I think for a lot of people like that aren't in the NFT space yet, they would think like, why hell would you pay?
That is so stupid.
Yeah.
You're an idiot.
Yeah.
They'd be like, wow, you spent $2,000 on this.
Yeah.
It's worth a lot more now, just so everybody knows.
Yeah.
So it surprisingly was like a decent investment. But at the same time, I think there's the part of the reason why people buy into these things is purely for the money, like purely for the reasons of like trying to flip it and make more money.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the reason why I bought in.
It's because of the community.
It was the community, and I wanted to be a part of, like, I felt compelled, because when I first started, actually, if you go back to my Twitter page, and you go to the very, very early stages, like right at the beginning, you'll see like some of my first posts, they were just me trying to sell my own thing. Like it was me like just posting about my own work. And this is one of the works that I made prior to coming in the space with the intention to come in and try to sell. But after being in the space for like, 5 minutes, I realized like that's not the way. That's not the right way to go about this at all. I need to think long term.
Yeah.
Because we want to be in the space for a long time.
Yeah.
And you can't just come in guns blazing like, hey, everybody look at me, like buy my work.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nobody's gonna care.
Yeah.
So after being in the space for like a good 2 days, I realized, okay, I need to build a following first, and I need to understand the mentality of the space, like what everybody, the psychology of the people in the space. And I realized people really care about these projects, these profile pic projects. And I didn't understand why, but digging into it more, you start to realize like these profile pic projects, they're not just about the art. Like the art is almost secondary. Of course the art's important, because if you have bad art, no one's going to really care.
Yeah.
But something even like as simple as Alien Friends is very simple, right? The design is very simple, but it has this innocent charm to it. I think if you look at it long enough, you're like, oh, I can see the appeal. Like it's kind of cute, and it feels like, you can put it on merch. It feels like you can really market it like as a thing, and people really care because they have their money invested in these projects as well. So it is very scary in that sense. Like everybody's really pushing these projects because they're hyping it up because they essentially holding bags of these. So
what's in their best interest for the project to do well.
Exactly. So that psychology, I think, really part of it, maybe it was subconscious at the time when I started doing these 3D friends, but looking back in hindsight, it made total sense because you're contributing to the ecosystem by doing 3D versions of this, and doing it to high quality, so people look at it and be like, wow. Look at the guys, like look at what Alien Friends guys are doing. It's awesome. Like they're making all this high quality stuff. There must be really talented people inside that project, that community. It's almost like a club. If a club starts like doing cool things, you're like, I want to be a part of that club. Exactly, I don't want to miss out. So that's the whole psychology. And I think why people really liked what we were doing with these 3D versions is because they look at it and they're like, wow, that's like a really cool version of the 2D thing, and they're doing it to a high quality. I want to support these people, like these artists who are like helping make my project look better.
Exactly.
So
and that's what, like, you can tell really. Like I remember when I first saw this, I thought it was amazing already. Like I love the clay texture on the character's face, but I just like the character's design. Like after maybe because I'm just a 3D guy in general, once it got converted to 3D, I was like, I'm in. Like this was So I saw Alien Friends when it was 0.25 ETH. So this was when I first literally got into the space. I think that's like late December. And
I remember we were talking, and then I was like, hey man, I think you should get in.
But at the time, like when you first get in, you don't know what is the right price. As a lot of things, like you just don't know whether 0.25 ETH is too much or too little, or whatnot, right?
Yeah.
So
especially for your first NFT. I mean,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
feels like a lot of money, honestly, when I bought this.
Yeah.
And it was like around that $2,000 mark.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like, wow, what am I doing? I had like this whole moment, like after I purchased it, I'm like, did I just buy this JPEG for
Yeah.
$2,000?
Yeah, yeah.
And I looked at the art and I'm like, I didn't really buy it for the art. I mean, I bought it because there was an innocent charm to it, but it's
Yeah.
like, if I had to be objective about the art, like, would I pay $2,000 for this? And then I
Yeah.
think at the time the answer was like, nah, hell
Yeah.
no, like this,
Yeah.
that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But then I could justify it because I was like, I want to buy into this project to be a part of this community,
Mhm.
so that people can, like, for visibility, but also for like just to participate in this
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
space, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Sort of like when you know, even with stocks, you like a lot of people. This might not be the best option, but you know, when you need skin in the game,
yeah.
to really know like what it feels like.
Yeah, like,
Um,
unless you put that money down, you
yeah.
don't. You're just on the sidelines watching.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
So, and in a weird, like, I think I had so many emotions at the time when I bought it.
yeah.
But in a weird way, like, once I put that money down and I bought this JPEG, I was like, I'm in. I'm
Yeah.
in. I'm taking this very serious. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
the 3D versions of this.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go around and offer my
Yeah.
services to make free ones of this for other people.
yeah,
So you can see if you go to the AF3D, if you just click on the top, yeah. So you can see all the ones I've made so far,
yeah.
and there's
great.
there's
Yeah.
a bunch.
What was the? Oh yeah, the second one was this one.
Yeah, so I think that was the second one I made, and it was for Gary V.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah,
he's really the one that got me into the project, and I know how much he would probably hate it if he found that out, but
yeah,
I trusted the man because he started his own project. He started
Yeah.
his own PFP project,
yeah,
and his whole purpose of starting it was to really, like, build a brand
yeah.
that he could take to the end of time, like, for
Yeah.
him, right?
Yeah,
And he wanted to, when you buy these profile pics, you're not just buying the JPEG. You're
Mhm.
buying into the membership of the club. You're
Yeah.
buying into access. You're buying into utility.
yeah,
So Gary V's whole project is, hey, if you buy my thing, you got to come to my convention that
Yeah.
I'm making.
yeah,
It's quite a big convention. I think it's doing worldwide tours.
yeah, yeah,
But not only that, it's you get, like, access to him. You have, like, you basically, he has your back now
yeah,
for like the rest of time. I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
That's, and
Yeah.
he's someone that he really values his reputation, so he's going to honor that agreement.
yeah.
Um,
But yeah, yeah. But yeah, looking through, like, I remember just, like, this was the second one. Then I remember what really exploded was, I think, this one, which I thought was really awesome.
yeah.
This was like Alien Friends released something, like a special one, and then
Yeah, it's like a version 2 preview,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's a sneak peek, I guess, of the
yeah,
one of the up and coming version 2
yeah, yeah.
NFTs that
Yeah.
you can get.
And I thought this was so cool. Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, there's a whole, we can talk about, like,
Yeah.
version 2's utility and stuff maybe in
Mhm.
another video, but
yeah,
they released a 2D version of this
yeah,
on their Twitter, and as soon as I saw it, I'm like, I need to make this in 3D.
Yeah.
I think it's going to get a lot of attention, so
yeah.
there was definitely strategy to it.
Mhm.
This one wasn't a gift to anyone. It was really just me
Yeah.
just trying to ride the wave on the hype and the attention,
Mhm.
and it worked out. Sometimes you make these strategic plays and it doesn't work out,
Yeah,
and sometimes you make it and it really works out. So
yeah,
a lot of it, like, we're trying to figure out, like, what strategy to
Yeah.
employ when,
Yeah.
and how do we get our name out there and constantly show up in people's feeds and stuff like that. So,
yeah, yeah. I just remember, even when I saw the 2D, I remember it was a night, and then next morning I messaged. I was like, or after when you create it, I was like, yeah, this needs to be done. Like, because the slime, like, for 3D, this would look amazing.
yeah.
But
And
yeah,
it's one of the
turned
few
out-
I actually animated the
Yeah.
camera, so
yeah,
it was
was
doing a
great.
bit of a turntable.
yeah. So yeah, then
We should go check out your page, because
yeah,
you have
sure.
some really cool stuff on yours as well.
So let me see.
Yeah, this is your
Yes.
most recent one.
That's my most recent one, yeah. And literally fresh off this morning.
Yeah, fresh this morning.
So this is the community this is my first buy. So this was when I was actually same day when I looked at Alien Friends, and I was like 0.25 ETH. I think that's
high.
too expensive.
Yeah.
So I was like scouring, the depths of OpenSea. So that's the platform. And then I was trying to find good projects to get into, and why I got into this one solely because I actually like the cuteness of the design.
Yeah.
So did I think, or did I know anything about Fangang? No.
Yeah.
I have no clue about him.
I think we did very little research before putting
Yeah.
our money.
Yeah.
And it could have went, like, just so people know, it could have went completely wrong for us. Like, we could have
Yeah.
bought the wrong projects and basically got scammed.
Yeah. So with these guys, they were so cheap. I bought it. Well, they're like half the price.
Yeah.
So I think it was like 0.13 when I bought it. So I was like, oh, that's money that I can, like, if it sucks, whatever. It doesn't, like,
you could afford to lose.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't. I mean, this is, I guess, good investment advice. You shouldn't
Yeah.
put money that you can't afford to lose, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And so, and then after when I bought it, I went into the Discord. Usually it should be the other way around. But when I went to the Discord, it was like everybody was super nice. Not overly nice.
Yeah.
Where it's like sort of skeptical.
Yeah. Where like people were just in it to hype up the project for the money, or like people being very like defensive of the project or anything.
Exactly.
I think Fangang, like the community is probably one of the strongest, I think, in this space.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Like people like really shout each other out and just, they're not overly just that like.
Yeah, the disingenuous.
Yeah,
vibes.
disingenuous, like sort of helpful. So it's so it worked out really well. And plus, like, if I'm looking back, why I did it, it was because I wanted skin in the game, and the risk of if this doesn't go well is not just monetarily. Like, I'm okay with that because I really want to just be part of it. Part of the space, because you need that profile pic. You want that. You want to be in.
People, like, you want people to see you and be like, oh, he's like in the space. He's not just like on the sidelines trying to show you some work to buy, right? This person is actually, he's building. He's there. He's
exactly.
Yeah,
that's exactly and as silly as it sounds, right? But as we got as the like a week, like my time is so like distorted because so many things happen in a day. But I made this like art when I was when I was visiting my parents in Hong Kong, and it was basically just like let me open it up. It was just like just an animation that I wanted to do. It was about my hometown, so I was like, why not do something and see if it sells. Obviously no one bought it. Even though it's a very cheap price of like 0.07 ETH.
I feel like I want to buy it just so when you blow up, I'm gonna flip it for more because I'm bullish on you. So
so this took more time than my 3D Fangangs. Like,
but
anyway,
I love the fact that it's animated. I think there's something really nice about it, and if you're actually watching this, not financial advice, but like when we start doing well, this might be worth a lot more. So
so like partially why I made this was because it represented my hometown. My family came from humble beginnings, like my dad's side, well, even my mom's, but they were cab drivers, so that's why I made it.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So but anyway, then as we went along, Billy had some success with doing his like 3D alien friends, so I decided like, hey, maybe I can do the same for my community, right? So I started making these. So this was my first ever 3D Fangang, with some fur.
I love the fur, man. I think the fur definitely adds.
Yeah.
Like the hair is so cute as well.
Yeah. So it looks like a plushie, really. So it turned out like pretty well, actually. Like, this is my first time, like, as an artist, you want to be like, because I'm an animator. I've been an animator for a long time. I did have like some generalist experience, but I haven't done that generalist stuff in a long time. And being able to do it again was really freeing.
Yeah.
You know, and I never played with fur, but this is the first time, like groom.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, this is fun.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you were just learning, like,
Yeah.
like you had, I think, learning out of necessity.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best way to learn, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you have like an end goal and you like, I need to learn this thing to get
Yeah.
there. That's like, for whatever reason, like when you learn like that, it just sticks. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, you don't forget.
Yeah.
Because I remember in the past, like I just used to do like YouTube binges and just watch all these tutorials,
Yeah.
and then you have a vague idea of how everything works, but nothing sticks. So
Yeah.
like when you have to go do it, you have to go rewatch it, and I feel like you're just
Yeah.
spending like
Use
twice
time.
the amount of
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
So now I'm very like intentional with my learning. It's like if I
Yeah.
need it for whatever reason, then I'll learn it, and then I'll use it straight away for that
Exactly.
reason.
So there's a straight practical side.
Yeah,
where you have
exactly.
to like apply it.
Yeah,
And
it's efficient.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was my first one, and then you know, as we gone on, I've made 5 in total now. And if you get like, you probably don't know because there's not side by side comparison,
Yeah.
but I literally every version is like improved on. So that's what I mean by like, you don't have to be great straight out of the gate.
Yeah.
You learn on the process. So this is like when I started to pick up on Substance Painter, so texturing a bit more. So for this one, even though I feel like I'm going to do version 2s for like these early ones for people again, because it bugs me now. But you know, like you sort of discover, techniques, right?
Yeah.
And then
You're like, oh, I could have applied that earlier on
Yeah.
to this, and yeah,
Exactly.
I think you're building that tool bag of like little tricks and like little different things that you can do. I think for the future.
And it's like a lot, like you've become a lot faster, right? So
Yeah.
this is the 4th one, and this is when I first really felt like I had some success in the texturing side. I think it was the leaf from the previous one and the beanie. Even though it's super simple, I felt like it
felt like it
was a
looks
good
awesome.
execution.
Like it looks like
Yeah.
like a knitted beanie.
Cool.
You know, it doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Awesome.
I think that's what makes it look really cool.
Yeah. And then this was the final one, and this was actually like a repeat of certain props, but it was actually all tweaked. All of it was.
Oh yeah.
So for
I see
example, the
improvements
beanie,
on the fur, right? Like,
yeah, improvements on the fur, improvement even on the beanie. I was like, because of the lighter color, you have to really make these sort of
the lines
a bit more obvious, but without being too obvious. And I sort of re-UV'd everything, but and from this, so this body and the face is actually anatomically like I've sculpted it in compared to my very first one, like as in I did refinements.
Yeah.
So now it's a lot more, I guess, to me, like a lot more appealing than before. But people might not even know that because it's more because I see it all the time. So I know the flaws of it. And then I try to just slowly carve it on each new version.
And I think a lot of the people who are seeing this stuff, they're not 3D artists. So they don't have the eye for what makes good 3D art, right? Or they might I feel everybody innately has that the ability to recognize good, bad design and like what's appealing, what isn't. They might not be able to explain like why one thing is more appealing than the other, like this little tweak, why that improves it. They might not see those things, but I think innately everybody knows, right? Like if you see
like
a good
feeling.
design, because we've all grown up seeing like design is everywhere around us. You know? So everybody has seen enough that they innately have that. They just haven't trained the eye to pinpoint exactly what it is.
Yeah. But even like, we talked about, like I think 2 days ago. Yeah. No, well, we're going to talk about this piece that Billy recently did. Oh, actually yesterday.
It just came out. Yeah.
But we talked about, like, I was trying to figure out, why does this work or all his work like look so appealing? Because one of the reasons it's the strong rim light. And with all my other ones, I didn't do this, but I actually to get the rim light that I wanted, because it's fur, it doesn't necessarily catch all the rim as well as if it was a hard texture, right? Yeah. So I actually I was actually gonna go I went into Photoshop. I was like, maybe this will I was trying to do a doff effect. Yeah. But instead, so I went to Photoshop and played with the blending options, and I clicked bevel and I think emboss.
Oh, right. So it was like a 2D like effect to get that rim.
Yeah, and then so like instead of getting the blur, I got this like I saw like automatically in Photoshop they made it look pretty good, even though it's a really hard emboss, right?
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, hey, wait, like there's something here.
Yeah.
Um,
I love that. That
yeah,
you
so-
use like a totally different technique to get the rim light.
So yeah, it's hard to catch that rim light sometimes.
I see,
and,
yeah, because it definitely feels like it pops
Yeah.
out a little bit more, especially
Yeah.
in the edges.
And you know how I hated the back, like from my previous one, the background being the same color. It's not
Yeah.
enough contrast. So I was like, oh, how do I make him pop? And the rim light thing we talked about the other day. So I was like, oh, this emboss thing, like this could work. And then it was just some blending in Photoshop, and then yeah, it just makes it pop a little bit more. And that already to me like adds a bit more to it than my previous pieces.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like an ever sort of growing process that that people
I
should-
think
yeah,
just as an
jump in,
artist, like
yeah.
every artist goes through
yeah.
this, and I
Yeah.
feel like because we have reasons to make this stuff, one of the hardest things I found when we were working was like you can't create like for yourself, right? You either don't have time or you just don't know what to do. Like you're just not that inspired. Like maybe you have an idea, but it's very hard to take it from beginning all the way to the end, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to do everything, and then
Yeah.
you have to render it, and it's so much effort. At some point, I think everyone always starts off with the right intentions, but they never just get there in the end. They can't
Yeah.
follow through all the way.
Yeah.
But like because we are doing this and we have a very specific end goal, right? We need to get this to the people.
Yeah.
We want to get this and send it to the people
Yeah.
who ask for one. So
Yeah.
I think just from that alone, it
Yeah,
forces
it's-
us to go all the way to the end.
Yeah.
Like we can't back out halfway.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. And I think like doing these profile photos also, it's like a shorter time span.
Yeah.
With how do you say it? Like there are repeating elements, but then there are also non-repeating elements where you can hone in on like a certain skill.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's like really it's been really fun because it's like you get to finish like a project really in a short amount of time with a goal in mind
Yeah.
to like satisfy like a client essentially, and then but also improving on like it's enough of a difference where you're still improving on stuff
Yeah.
or practicing stuff.
And then there isn't that
Yeah.
added pressure of like,
Yeah.
deadlines or anything. Because,
Exactly.
the only deadlines that we have is like the ones that we put on ourselves. Really.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. So now, like, we talked about us doing like free work to build our exposure, in the community, to eventually hopefully back us, in the future when we do projects.
yeah.
But there's also the other side where, we did quit our jobs, and we do like, it's always great to have, some extra income, like from commission work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this is something that we've been asked to do, more so Billy, and he's been he recently did, like yesterday he just finished off a project, and I guess he'll talk a little bit about it.
Yeah. I mean, I should mention that, if you go to this page and just scroll down just till before, maybe a little bit after this.
After
It's the one, the Superman alien friend. The super alien friend, this one, yeah. So
the video one, here you go.
yeah, so this one I made, it was very interesting because the person who requested this actually, man, it was so crazy because I essentially did mine first, and then I did Gary V's one, and then I just tweeted out, I'm like, hey, who wants one of these? Like, I'm gonna open up requests for anyone that wants these. And so I did that. I opened up the request, and of course I got a flood of people just asking, and I just took on like all the ones that I could at the time. I'm still going through and doing these now because there's so many people that requested.
Yeah.
But one of the person, like this LeBord James person on Twitter.
I love that name.
Yeah.
I love that urban name.
Yeah, so this guy, or girl, I'm not sure, it's on Twitter, so you never know.
Yeah.
But this person actually reached out and said, hey, I would love one. And then I said, awesome, like, I'll put you on the list. And before I even did it, like, this person sent me some ETH. And I mean, this Twitter thread here that kind of goes through the the story a little bit, but essentially, like, this person just wanted to give me some money just for no reason, just for like just taking on his request. So it became almost like, wow, like I didn't expect, and I didn't even make his one yet, you know. So
you could have easily
scammed the guy, you know. Like he didn't know who I was, but I think he was willing enough to also like contribute to the community and support like artists like us who are coming in and doing this for their projects and doing this for the right reasons, I think. And you know, that ETH actually was like a big deal because it was quite a lot, you know. I don't know if I should say exactly how much, but
maybe not,
you know, just for his privacy. But it wasn't insignificant. It was definitely a significant amount for me, and I was like, wow, okay, you know, I need to do a good job on this one, of course, because you know, and definitely make sure that you know, when I did it, you know, I wanted to give him some like you know, give him some kudos for doing such a cool thing, right? So like in one way we were doing this for free, but in another sense it's like he's not the only one that has donated. Like there's been one other person who did donate, obviously not as much as, you know, and I didn't expect anything from anyone for any of this. It was really just doing it out of our own time, and
just for fun,
just
to build the community.
Exactly. So that I thought was a really cool kind of it's just like a really cool situation. Where I didn't think that was possible, but
I guess that started the commission stuff.
So people then kind of, I guess, took notice of the work that that I was doing, because it was getting shared around a lot, and then, you know, someone reached out to me to help out on their project. And in the beginning, you know, I was trying to juggle the time, you know, like in a smart way, because you know, we're trying to build our own project, you know, so we haven't started yet. We haven't started yet. We're still in the early planning stages, but because, you know, I really wanted to focus on my work for our project. You know, I had to turn down a lot of commissions, but in the same sense, it's like the money does matter for us, because you know, you mentioned we quit. So I took this one on because this project was willing to pay me like the amount that I thought was like, oh, that's actually enough for me to want to take time away from our thing to get that money so that we can continue, you know, for longer, right? Help support us while we're trying to figure out our thing. So I took this commission on, and you know, it turned out to be a really cool, like a little piece, you know. And you know, the project is actually doing a lot of things that I think are really good. Like, you know, they decided to, once I completed this piece, you know, they wanted to auction this piece off actually and donate the money to charity, you know, plus some additional money out of the project founder's own pocket, you know, to, you know, it's it says here, proceeds going to NYC homeless shelter in need of financial assistance.
That's great.
So I mean, I love that whole mentality of this project. So I think everything just came together really, really nicely. But there's been a lot of people reaching out, and for you too, I know.
For you know, different side things, but definitely not like it's like different things. But in terms of commission, definitely not as frequent as you. But I think even if you just look at it, 234 retweets. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's insane. That's a lot of retweets.
I mean, I wasn't like, you know, I'm like, my handle's not tagged in this, unfortunately. But I would have loved to have my name tagged in there. But I think, you know, that's cool. In my head, it's like, it didn't matter whether like, you know, I got like any clout from this piece or anything at all, because at the end of the day, for me, it was a commission. So technically it's like I got paid to do the job, and I did my job, and now anything else is bonus, right? So, you know, if you felt like you didn't get done right, you should have asked for more money to begin with, right? You know, that's part of the process as an artist. It's like, hey, like, you know, you can't go in with the expectation that like, hey, we're gonna promote you and this and that, you know, because that's always like,
because they already paid for, technically, even in the, like, you know, in the real world, I guess. Yeah, once you get paid, that's not yours anymore. They don't have any need to say that you're the artist.
Yeah, so it's their piece now, essentially. So they have no obligation to you as the artist from then on. Of course, I wish it was different. Like, you know, I wish, you know, like, if you do something, you should get a lot of recognition for doing it.
Yeah.
And that's something that, like, we want to change. I think when we do our project, we want to make sure the artists are front and center and make sure that we give them the maximum amount of exposure. In fact, the whole project that we're building is really it's based on, like, that. Supporting artists,
supporting them.
So we're actively trying to change this whole thing. And artists are very revered in the space. That's one thing I notice.
Well, basically, before I go on a tangent, like, I do want to talk about, this is the original artwork, right? And clearly it's a very good translation of it. It looks really good. I really like this.
I was quite happy with it, I gotta say. Like, I'm usually, like, very reserved with how you know how highly I feel about my own work, but this one I was, like, really happy and proud with, because I'm like, it actually looks really good. I'm like, I even surprised myself. Just so people know, I'm not a modeler, texturer, like, lighting artist or anything.
Just everything.
You know, I didn't do it as like my main thing, right? You know, I was always an animator slash a layout artist slash, you know, like a technical artist
slash everything, as I said. But
so it was a good opportunity.
Was nullified, negated. Like,
it was a good opportunity to flex my other skills, and I think it was satisfying in that sense.
I love this little camera thing that you got going on. But this looks great. And he released it, like, I think it was like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. yesterday. It came
like, so once I sent off all the stuff to the project founder, you know, like, he, like, a lot of these people in just the US, so the time is a little bit different. But I was up, you know, like, in constant communication with him, because I was sending him those versions, and he said he'll post it, and I was like, cool. Like, I wanted to go to bed, so, you know, because it was late. It was like 2 a.m. at that time, but, you know, it was only like an hour away, so I was like, you know what, I'll just stay up for another hour, and then I'll retweet it and like it, and, you know, help give my support, because I want to see this piece get sold for a lot, so I feel, like, better about the fact that it's being donated. So I stayed up a little bit more and just help engage the tweet a bit. But I think, you know, like, we'll probably end up in a tangent if I go down here, but, like, since quitting, like, my schedule has been like nuts, right? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm up at all weird hours at a time. And that's probably something that we need to figure out. I think if anyone ever quit their job, maybe they'll have a similar story. But
we definitely, even I have, like, terrible, I don't know how I have worse sleep than I had when I was working. It makes no sense.
I think the structure of, like, being in a stable job really helps, like, align your day night cycle. And
exactly. But I feel like that's something definitely, like, we need to talk about in a different episode, where it's like, because that stuff is important.
Like, how to deal with, like, if you're freelancing. I think a lot of people probably have this problem when you're freelancing, where because you set your own schedule, it can easily just fall apart.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's something, like, hopefully when we figure it out, we can talk about it. But
but for now, we can tell you we have terrible schedule. I'm always tired, even though as satisfied as I am. I'm very tired.
Like, physically, like, mentally, I think maybe it's to do with the space as well. Like, we always talk about how fast everything moves in space.
It's very,
like, you wake up in the morning and, like, 100 things have happened, and you're, like, trying to keep up with, like, the latest news, and, like, like, oh, there's giveaways, there's this new project that you know, and it's very easy to get caught up in that whole thing, and there's a lot of drama, and there's a lot of like, sometimes there's a lot of toxicity in the space, so it's like navigating this whole thing whilst like trying to stay true to ourselves and trying to do our thing. You know, it gets a little bit draining.
Because you want to stay updated with the news, but at the same time you want to create. You have to create.
Exactly.
And you want to create. So it's like, I found, like, I mean, these past 2 days I realized that, you know, even just being around the space, I was sort of diverting all, like I already have a pretty diverted attention. Like now I'm like even more. So like these past 2 days I was like, you know what? I'm going to create another PFP, like 3D PFP, and that's it. You know, I'm not going to focus on anything else. I'm just going to do that and do that well. And, you know, that's, but we can talk about that like in a different episode with the organization. But yeah, to sort of round up like this episode, like, you know, we've been getting more messages from different people. We actually started like talking to like a lot of random people that we have never met before, and even some people that I used to work in the same company for, which is crazy.
So it's like, it's, you know, like all the worlds are colliding for us at the moment, where it's like, we have kind of met like people in the industry who are doing something similar. And, you know, we were like discussing like how we can collaborate together and work together. And so there's so much opportunity, and there's so much like, it feels like, it just feels like very fresh, like everything's happening, and you want to, you know, you want to be involved everywhere and do everything. And, you know, I think at some point we probably, like, as we begin our own project, I think our goals were kind of like the amount of different things that we're doing are probably going to shrink, but we'll be much more focused on, at that point. But because it's still early, and like we mentioned, like our whole purpose at the beginning was to like build a bit of a following, like engage and be a part of the community and learn about the space. And I think we've done like exactly that. So
for sure. And so for anybody who's listening, like this is a viable way like for, you know, you to earn a bit of side income, and it might be, you know, something that you want to do just on the side, just to, I
mean, it could lead to something much bigger too.
If you want to expand your, you know, artistry, whether it's like if you're an animator, you can go into different parts like modeling, you know, texturing, you know, you can do that. This is a good time and good space to do that right now. We're just trying to I guess we're just trying to tell you guys there's other options other than studios. But
guess that was a good summary of what we're doing right now as we speak. So.
Exactly. So
we'll probably come out with more updates, I guess, as things develop. You know, so much is happening. Like every week, so much happens. So I'm sure we'll have a lot of new updates by next week, and we'll have like some more topics around like you know, this as also like around like the actual NFT specific stuff as well. I think we'll try to get some people on this podcast and talk about like actual projects and things like that.
And of course the educational side. So you know, now that we've shown like, you know, the sort of PFPs we worked on, we were planning to just release like a how did we make these things, like like how you would see in a normal animation tutorial or like Maya tutorial.
I mean, it'll be like one of those quick process videos. Kind of like the lazy tutorials from Ian Hubert. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those, the Blender ones.
Actually, well, maybe I have.
I think you have. It's very popular. It's like he does like those little 2-minute clips where he just goes like super quick talking about how he did this insane work. But like it's all like little quick clips. I mean, it's probably not going to be like as good or as concise as his one. But I think I would love to do like a quick breakdown of like you know, my general workflow to get from beginning to finish for one of these pieces.
That sounds good. I was thinking of doing little maybe short 5-minute ones through each stage, so modeling, then, you know, texturing, then lighting. But that's pretty much it for this episode. If you guys like what we were talking about today, please like and subscribe, and comment on the
stay like up to date with our journey, because I think it's gonna get more exciting.
Exactly. And please like let us know what you guys think in the comment section below, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace. And if you like what you saw, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks again. Peace.